The global oil crisis is leading to a rethink of alliances, with the US easing sanctions on Venezuela. America is set to allow major oil company Chevron to restart its operations in the South American country. That's after it broke off diplomatic relations back in 2019.
Washington authorized US and European oil companies to negotiate and resume operations in Venezuela.
This reflects the severe crisis that the United States is experiencing, the levels of stagflation, the high cost of fuel and energy, food, unemployment, and everything related to this belligerent campaign, and the use of NATO for a military attack on Russia on the territory of Ukraine. And that the campaign is hitting themselves.
A small protest group has taken to the streets of the capital Caracas to protest the lifting of those sanctions. Demonstrators see Chevron's return as backtracking from US efforts to topple the Maduro government, which it has been actively pursuing for years.
Against the repressive regime, targeting Maduro's inner circle and close advisors.
The regime of former President Nicolas Maduro is illegitimate.
But Maduro's grip on tyranny will be smashed and broken.
The day after the Maduro regime falls, there is a bright future for the Venezuelan people.
And take the following actions to isolate the Maduro dictatorship.
If you support the Maduro regime, you too are subject to sanctions.
Well, Dr. Jack Rasmus, a professor of economics and politics, thinks that the US is backtracking from its hardline course on Venezuela due to fears it doesn't have the oil it had promised to Europe.
The real issue is to allow Venezuela to ship some oil to Russia, to Western Europe. You know, Biden has made some real commitments to Western Europe. If they cut off Russian oil, he's going to make sure that they get oil in the place of the Russian oil. The problem is it doesn't look like anywhere is willing to up production in order to get more oil to Western Europe. The Saudis refuse to do it. At the same time, Iran, there was some discussion with Iran. Well, that's fallen through. That's not going to happen. You know, where are they going to get this oil from to provide Western Europe? Well, maybe Venezuela. I think in the back door, the whole idea is to let Venezuela, that can produce about 800,000 barrels a day, which is, what the U.S. was providing roughly to Europe. It'll be able to ship some of that to Western Europe in the short run. I think that's the thing behind the scenes that's really, the real objective here. On the surface, you're going to see all this fake negotiations with Venezuela. The U.S. will never let Venezuela off the hook and restore relationships with Venezuela.